Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Telkes. I am the director and founder of the Wildflower School of Botanical Medicine, and this is another edition in my series of Materia Medica Mondays. Today, we are going to explore Fennel, Foeniculum vulgare. That's the Latin binomial of this plant, and its family is Umbelliferae, also known as Apiaceae. This plant family is a very common one for culinary spices. So this plant does have a big reputation and use as a culinary spice, but in my herbalism, food is medicine, so there's not really a big difference between culinary and medicinal. So to me, this food is medicine. And the fennel enjoys a long history of use in so many different cultures. So what I love is introducing people to common weedy allies. I teach a whole series on what I call weed crafting and using the common weeds that are growing around you. And fennel is definitely something that gets very weedy in many parts of the world, let alone North America. So I've seen fennel growing wild on the sides of the roads in the deserts. Low-level deserts, Chihuahuan and otherwise. And then I've seen this all over yards and gardens in the Pacific Northwest, all over yards and gardens in the Deep South. So really easy to grow. And all you have to do to grow it is get some of the seeds and make sure they are organic, non-irradiated, and you can throw them out into your gardens and let them just grow. That's the thing about herbs. It doesn't take a lot. They're really easy to direct seed. You just want to get them a little bit loosely underneath the soil and they'll start sprouting up. Very common. And it can grow as a perennial, so something that'll come back year after year if you're lucky. A lot of times mine in the Deep South will die after a couple of years, so short-lived perennial. What I do like to do as food, let's talk about food first. I like to get the bulbs, cut them back at the base of the plant. So these will grow about, 4 feet, 5 feet tall if let go, and they can get quite large, or you can cut them back while they're still small. And in food, food, you'll see that a lot of times people will just slice this really thinly and add it into salads, soups, other dishes. The flavor is just slightly sweet, just tiny bit sweet and it's a little moistening and it's warming. So this is thought of as a warming spice. Now the warming portion of it really is in its seed. So this is the seed of fennel. And it's often sold at grocery stores all over the place, along with the live bulb. So it's common. You're going to find it a lot. If you don't find it, get some seeds and you can grow it easily. So fennel, besides chopping it up really thinly and putting it into salads, it's delicious. And it offers something unique, a little bit different. You can use it in, just to get a little bit of a different flavor into things. I also like to caramelize this and slice it thinly, put it in a roasting pan with some olive oil and let it caramelize up, and then add that into soups and dishes. It's delicious. You can also add the seeds into things to help with digestion. So as a medicinal ally, you'll find fennel in things like sausage and other types of dishes where there's a little bit of different types of culinary uses from around the world. So you'll find certain dishes in Indian cooking will use fennel, or certain dishes in even Greek cooking will use fennel, but it's something that's been used forever. And the old stories surround it being a plant that would protect warriors before they went out into the battlefield. And it was thought to be hung around the house to protect against evil. So it has a lot of mythic and interesting folklore associated with it, besides being just edible and medicinal. I like forming these more thoughtful relationships and looking at all aspects of the way humans have interacted with plants, besides just using them, right? So there was a lot of faith that fennel would help people get through hard times or protect them against hard things. So fennel also is in a plant family that's a little dangerous, right? So you don't want to just go harvest this out of the wild. This is something that you would want to make sure 100% that you knew what it was and that you were gathering it from a place that we felt good about it. And I always talk about being careful with how you and when you decide to go forage. That I teach a weed crafting class, and I would much rather folks get a better sense of how to do it safely than just go out because they think they found fennel, because fennel's in a family where we have some toxic plants too. This Apiaceae or umbelliferae family is full of culinary spices, but it's also full of toxic botanicals. So be careful. If you grow this plant, you have just become a garden that may be a food source and a place of respite for the black swallowtail butterflies. So they have these beautiful little striped caterpillars, and they will climb all over your fennel and eat it. And you'll be worried, oh no, they're eating my fennel. They've never killed any of my fennel. They'll eat it right back. They'll disappear, go on to another plant, and then the fennel comes back. And then you end up with these beautiful swallowtail butterflies that are all over your garden, and they come back year after year. So keep your fennel going and you'll have lots of butterflies in your garden. Also, the medicinal qualities of this plant really are imparted most potently in the seed. While fennel pollen is used in a lot of fancy drinks you'll find, or other types of chefing, most of us will find that fennel seed is what we see in a lot of traditional cooking and medicinal use. So most commonly the seed is going to be something that you use as a digestive stimulant, and it helps to warm and relax spasms. It's known as a carminative, so it will relieve gas. You might find yourself burp or fart after eating it. So it gets rid of gas in the system. And it's also a little bit warming and moistening, so it can be utilized for many different cold, stagnant conditions in the body. I'm going to focus today on respiratory. So respiratory issues that fennel may be good for include if you have a dryness in the chest and coldness in the lungs, and that could be seen as phlegm. So this is a warming, moistening expectorant, also not just for digestion but for the lungs. And so you can take the seeds in a tea. It's delicious. Or you could make a syrup out of the seeds and then take that for coughs and spasm in the lungs and help to move secretions through and out. So warming, moistening. You'll also see that because of its warming, moistening qualities and its slight estrogenic properties, that it will bring in milk. So it's a galactagogue. It's going to help women to breastfeed, and I've seen amazing results with it. So that's another thing to think about with fennel. But that's it for today. And if you want to know more about herbs, you can always check out our website, wildflowerherbschool.com. We have lots of blog posts and audio files, and my Anchor FM podcast, Wild Spirit. Have a great day and enjoy fennel.